Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk will read the roll.
John Steinberg.
Here.
Monica Uhas. Here. Steve Borkowitz.
Here.
Clyde Allen.
Here.
Mike Burton.
Item 4, citizens' comments.
John Bray.
John Bray, 470 74th Street, motion. Mrs. Uhas, gentlemen, I appeared before this group once before talking about the coal train up here. I never thought I'd say it, but I have to. I'm disappointed in this board, and I think I'm disappointed in the administration. I can't believe a train can block public roadways for periods, I'd say average at least 20 minutes. I've sat there on 2 occasions for more than half an hour. The most recent one was a couple days ago. I was westbound and the first car stopped at the train. I was there for 20 minutes. During that period, most of the cars are familiar with the problem. They immediately turn and pull away. While I was there, someone suddenly appeared walking south on the east side of the right-of-way, right up against the train. I mean, if he wanted to, he could have hit the train car. He was on, there's an embankment with a lot of stone and rubber, and he was struggling to stay up at the top of it. But he suddenly appeared, and I can only conclude that he came from the west side of the train, either under the train or between cars. When he got to the rotary to 95th Street, he got into the driver's seat in the vehicle behind me. Now, I can only conclude that it must have been his wife that drove to that point, got stopped by the train, somehow made some telephone communication with him. He probably worked at, what's the cold storage place right there? He probably was employed there, got out, somehow crossed the right-of-way, through the train or under the train, and then came on the right-of-way, got in his car, and they turned and headed back east. Now, this is 2 occasions where someone's crossed that right-of-way with that train there. And you know, in village administration and in dealing with emergency forces, everyone acknowledges that this place is blocked for long periods of time. I can recall watching a program on Channel 11. It was something of a, I wouldn't call it a travelogue, but it was a series of programs dealing with the suburbs around the Chicago area, giving their history and their highlights and so on. And I remember very particularly Blue Island. Someone there made a comment that they had terrible problems with trains blocking the right-of-way until they enacted some statute or ordinance. But the comment was they made it a paying venture. So I think somehow we should investigate to see what the heck can be done about blocking 95th Street the way it is. Thank you.
Bob Babcock.
Bob Babcock, 11336 Lakeshore Drive. Just for a quick comment on Mr. Briggs' statement there. When I went to high school, which was many, many years ago, a friend of mine decided to crawl under a stalled train. It started to go, he panicked, and it cut his arm off. So it's a dangerous thing. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the snowball crews on the excellent job they did Friday. They did the same as they always do. Very good job. Item F on the agenda tonight deals with adding audio transcripts to the village website, which would be considered a step in the right direction. However, the citizens of Pleasant Prairie would be much better served if they were provided with a video transcript. It has been said that the cost would be $170,000 a year to provide video. I'd certainly hope that somebody could figure out how to do it for less than $7,000 a meeting. And if you want to offer me $150,000, I'll do a good job for you. As a suggestion, possibly the village board could talk to the school board about having the taping done as a school project. I'm sure there's a number of classes in the school, civics and photography classes and so on and so forth, that could gain some valuable on-the-job training by doing this. They would not only get the work experience, but they would also get a good introduction as to how our village government functions. They even air it on their own TV channel for free. One other thing you could possibly look at, sponsorship, maybe the Parliament Center or something like that may want to sponsor the taping of the village board meetings. So that's about it. Thank you.
There are no more sign-ups, Mr. President.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Mr. Jankowski.
Thank you, Dick Jankowski, 7022 51st Avenue. I want to respond to Bob Babcock for a moment. I agree, by the way, Klaus did a marvelous job, as usual. With regard to blocking the railroad crossing, unfortunately, it's cold. I don't have my laptop with the statutes on disc in there, but my recollection is that there is a state statute on that point as with regard to how long a railroad crossing may be blocked. I will put that on my to-do list, but my suggestion, Bob, is that if you have one of those instances where it is a long time, and you can document it, I mean, look at the clock from point A to point B and it becomes a problem. If in fact that statute is still on the books and exists and applies, the police department can issue a citation to the railroad. And also I think there's some things that we might be able to do to speak to the railroad with regard to that. But I believe there is a state statute on point. I can't put my finger on it, don't have the material available. With regard to the item F, I had an opportunity to both take a look at in one of my many hats. I think at the age of 13, I was the youngest licensed FCC engineer in the country. And so I'm also a broadcast engineer. And the concept of televising the meeting, what Alex Tiadabak has done is proven, by the way, both arguments. Number one, it can be done somehow. And number two, if you don't do it right, it doesn't look good. So yes, I think that there is a cost to televising the meeting and to do it right. I don't believe it's $175,000. What I think in terms of initial acquisition, and this is kind of bannered about, is that the initial acquisition of equipment and running the line to the control point is where the cost is. And so, you know, your initial equipment acquisition and that's where your problem is. Your cost per meeting is going to be about $400 once that's done. But the initial issue would be acquisition of equipment and also the cost of running a line out to the iceplex. The next alternative, though, to webcast the meetings with a live audio stream, and I mean, Cadillac level doing that is a couple of grand a year, maybe 3,000 tops if you want to acquire some equipment. And actually it can be done for less than that, but the most reliable way of doing it, it's about $120 a year for web space access. And if you paid someone, let's say $15